On today's primetime local news. A new decade and already the Lloydminster Men's Shelter is seeing a lot more people needing a place to stay.
It certainly surprised me as well, the fact that we have so many individuals that are approaching us asking how can we help.
And after being gone for a season, Braden Cook is back on the ice with the Bobcats Midgets AAA team.
He just brings that calmness. He's played at that next level, like you said, so he knows what it takes to get there. And we expect him back there next year.
Plus a bundle of joy for 2020, the first baby to be born in the new decade.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Well, the Lloydminster Men's Shelter, the Lloydminster Social Action Coalition Society, is in its first year operating a drop-in center, which has had a busy winter. Open to men and women and children of all ages, the Lloydminster Drop-In Center has seen steady use of its facility since opening in November.
Things have certainly picked up. I think a lot of people have gotten wind of the place that we have here and what we offer and all the supports that we're able to provide, and I think that a lot of people are getting behind it, not only individual but also company-wise and agency-wise. I think a lot of people are really supporting us, and the word is certainly spreading at this point.
With the amount of people using the services at the center is looking for food donations for the meals they provide.
We're always looking for food, always looking for clothing. I mean, in terms of food, it's non-perishable food items. We serve breakfast Monday to Friday. We do lunches Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So soups, peanut butters, spreads like that, it's all very useful, and I think it's all really beneficial towards what we're doing here.
The drop-in center is also in need of volunteers to help with meal prep as well. While people were out celebrating the new year, a couple from Lashburn were celebrating the birth of their son. On January 1st, Shelby Stapley and Jordan LaValle welcomed their son, Benjamin Conrad LaValle, into the world at 4:49 p.m. at the Lloydminster Hospital, officially making him Lloydminster's first baby of 2020. Benjamin weighed 7 pounds 3 ounces, and everyone is doing well. The family would like to thank the staff in the maternity ward at the Lloydminster Hospital for everything they did. Mayor Gerald Albers and City Council faced a number of challenges in 2019, but believe they're putting their best foot forward in managing rising costs for taxpayers. Josh Ryan sat down with the mayor to talk about the budget, 2019 accomplishments, and the possibility of running in 2020.
Back in studio with me is Mayor Gerald Albers. Thank you very much for coming by our little studio. I know it's been a busy time for you around this time of year.
Well, thanks for the invitation. And yeah, things have picked up just a little bit this time of year.
Absolutely. So as we are now in the midst of the Christmas season, has it been nice to sort of have things slow down a tinge after a very busy November with having the budget and whatnot?
Yeah, it has slowed down a little bit from some activities, but other activities have picked up because of the Christmas season. A lot of people are in a very good mood, and different gatherings and celebrations, and the invitations continue to come in. So it continues to keep it busy. If it's not during the day, it's in the evening. So that's terrific.
Outside of the budget, which obviously was a real highlight for both staff and administration, what has stood out to you about 2019?
I guess the first one is the funding agreement with the wastewater treatment plant to be able to move forward in that project. I think that's for council and the city. I believe that was the largest event this year from that perspective. Having the repaving of the airport, spending another money that was received through a federal grant, $5.7 million. So that was another big event. And all the other work that we've done for the projects around the city. I think we've just about got everything wrapped up that we wanted to get wrapped up before Mother Nature delivered her latest edition.
For sure. Is there any, in terms, because you've made so many appearances throughout the community, is there any particular events you've gotten to be a part of that you're going to look back at particularly fondly?
2019, there was just so many great events, and it's hard to just narrow down to one. And I always look forward to the next one. I guess that's the nifty part of my job. And I'm looking already into 2020, and we've got the summer games coming, the Saskatchewan Summer Games. And reflecting back, there was a lot of great events this year. A lot of great work went into a lot of great events, and because of volunteers, donors, and sponsors. And I think that's what makes me so proud of the city to go out and promote it, is that we have a tremendous community spirit in the city.
And that community spirit will obviously be needed moving forward with some of the announcements in the past couple of months. One of them is the buildings report, which is one of the most talked about documents you've had in the community. obviously not great news when you got it. So that's, even though it's a significant moment in 2019, what's your view on how that will shape 2020?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of discussion continuing on in 2019 and into 2020 about the priorities of the city and what we need and what we want. It really comes down to that. As we talk about Fire Hall number 1, that's a need. The building is started in the 1940s, so it's gone through some renovations, but it's reached its end of life. From some of the other buildings, certainly they've been built sooner, but we didn't get the expected lifespan out of them what we hoped. It's disappointing, but it is the reality. So I want to ensure that the community understands and has that opportunity for discussion and engagement and the ability to give us some comments, because City Council is really 7 people, but we represent the entire city. So we want to try and get a good cross-section of people's thoughts, opinions, help them understand what we're facing as a City Council, as well as the city themselves as taxpayers. How do we move forward?
I know I briefly asked you this question once earlier this year. Have you given any more thought to the municipal election in 2020?
Given it a little more thought, and I think that my wife and I will take some time over Christmas and the New Year, and I won't leave the city waiting too long into the New Year to let them know what we're thinking as myself and my wife, because really you've elected me, but it's a team effort from the perspective that she supports me in the background, and I really appreciate that. So we'll have some news for you in the New Year.
A couple of rapid fire questions before we let you go back to enjoying your Christmas time. First, who is the person in City Council that most often throws a pop culture reference in the middle of a meeting?
Well, I think that would have to be Councillor Torreson, I believe. I'd have to give him that one.
Yeah, not particularly shocked by that. Whose laugh is usually the one that most breaks the silence in a good way?
Councillor Monroe, I believe, has a great laugh.
Fair enough. Who's the one who's the most eager to buy everyone coffee or donuts on a break if someone else is in charge of bringing in coffee or donuts?
That'd be Leo Perry. He seems to be the guy out the door quick.
Okay, fair enough. If you had to name someone the captain of the debate team, who would you like to be the captain of the debate team?
I would say Councillor Baker.
Yeah. He has a little bit of experience.
He's got just a little bit of experience.
Fair enough. And we'll end with this. What will you be watching with your family this Christmas?
Well, it might be a rerun of Frozen. That seems to be a hit with the nieces and nephews.
Okay. Well, I can expect you'll let a lot of things go then over the course of this next holiday break. Thank you very much for taking
Thank you
time.
very much.
And Merry Christmas, sir.
And a very Merry Christmas to you.
And now a look at your weekend weather with our Abby St. John.
-10 here in Lloydminster. Fairly cloudy skies. We did have a nice clear day out today, and that wind wasn't as strong as yesterday, so it definitely was a lot warmer than it was yesterday, which was nice to see. East-southeast winds coming at 18 kilometers per hour, making it feel closer to -18 with that wind chill. Across Alberta, -9 out in Cold Lake, -8 in Athabasca and Whitecourt, -5 in Edmonton, -7 in Red Deer and in Edson, +1 in Jasper, and -6 in Rocky Mountain House. And on the Saskatchewan side, -10 up in Meadow Lake, -8 in Prince Albert, -7 in Melfort, -11 in Saskatoon, and -13 out in North Battleford. And overnight in North Battleford, they'll experience a little bit more cloud coverage overnight with the temperature at -12, and that wind will be at 17 kilometers per hour coming in from the east-southeast and remain that speed tomorrow, but coming in from the south-southwest with a daytime high of +2 and a mostly cloudy day. In Cold Lake overnight, they will experience some cloud coverage with the temperature dropping to -11, and that wind will be at 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the east-southeast and pick up to 20 kilometers per hour tomorrow coming in from the west-southwest with a daytime high of 0, and they have a chance of some snowfall throughout the day. Here in Lloydminster overnight, we'll have around the same amount of cloud coverage we are experiencing now with the temperature at -11, and that wind will be at 19 kilometers per hour coming in from the southeast, and then pick up to 20 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-southwest tomorrow with a daytime high of 0. However, it'll feel closer to -15 with that wind chill and a low of -11 and a mostly cloudy day. And then on Sunday, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -7, which will feel closer to -17 with that wind chill and a low of -11. And then on Monday, despite having a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day, there's about a 56% chance of some snowfall with a high of -8, which, however, will feel closer to -31 with that wind chill and a low of -13. That's a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Rosemary Falk won re-election for her riding of Battleford's Lloydminster in a landslide, but now faces continued challenges as the Conservative Party looks for a new leader. Josh Ryan has more on this discussion with the MP.
Back in studio now, joined by MP Rosemary Falk. Thank you very much, Rosemary, for taking the time to stop in studio and talk to us amid this very busy holiday season.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, and speaking of a busy holiday season, it feels like it's been sort of nonstop since the election happened and you were re-elected for this region.
Yeah, it's been go, 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 literally, which is good. It's good to be busy. It's good to be able to hear what is important to constituents and be able to relay that back to Ottawa.
And what's been the thing that stood out most that's been an important talking point for your constituents?
I think a lot over and over that I'm hearing is the fact that the federal government, the Liberal federal government, isn't taking into account our oil and gas sector. Really, with the policies that they're bringing forward, they're trying to basically eliminate oil and gas. And also our agriculture. I mean, we just went through the strike with the CN, the CN strike, and how that's affected the farmers, and of course the carbon tax, right? And how I just read an article the other day or today that Saskatchewan government's going to have to increase the carbon tax because the federal government says they need to. So having these extra expenses and life being more expensive is something that I'm hearing over and over again from constituents.
And so taking that information into account, how do you then bring that forward into Parliament? What's the conversation like when you're there?
That's a great question. So I actually had an opportunity to speak to do a speech on the reply to the speech from the throne. And it was funny because, every question that I was asked, especially even supporting middle class Canadians, I reiterate to the government as much as I can, well, if we didn't have a carbon tax, life would be more affordable, and groceries, fuel, heating bills would go down, which would help in every scenario, whether you're a student, whether you're a single mom with kids, whether you're a senior, life would just be more affordable having that tax removed altogether.
And the other thing that, of course, has been occupying everyone's mind in Parliament is, since the recent news that Andrew Scheer is stepping down as leader, for many people inside probably weren't as surprised, but it certainly came as a shock when it happened as quickly as it did. What's that conversation been like? And from at least your perspective, where do you think the party moves forward from here?
I would actually argue with you. I think there was many of us caucus members who were very surprised because Andrew Scheer has said that he is going to continue leading the party. So there was, we were surprised, shocked, disappointment, but understand, and I highly respect him for, making that hard decision, right? He's not only putting our party first, but he's also putting his family first. And by doing that, stepping down once a new leader has been chosen by the members of the party, and allowing somebody who does have the time and can put however much time into that, leading us to victory.
And what's a quality you think you'll look for from a next leader? Because obviously there were a couple of particular social issues that, at least polling and certain analysis of the election, say that made a difference in terms of the election results at the end of the day?
I think at the end of the day, we need to have a leader that is going to have integrity, right? I believe Andrew Scheer has integrity. Him stepping down, is one example of that. But that will be one of the most important qualities that I'll look for. But again, at the end of the day, it's going to come out to the grassroots members to choose who they want to lead the party.
And looking back at the rest of the year, you said off camera that since your pregnancy, there's some of the rest of it is a blur. Is there anything that does stand out to you in terms of accomplishments within the House and stuff?
I think, being the voice an effective voice that I have been for the members of Battleford, Lloydminster, the constituents, and being able to just be real. You know, I think being able to have a family, just welcomed our third baby right in July, and just, you know, we experience the same struggles that everyday people here in the Battlefords, Lloydminster are experiencing, and just being able to have that realness is probably the most effective way that I'm able to bring that back to Ottawa and say, hey, look, like, for example, this carbon tax, I have to drive my kids around. You know, my husband has to drive the kids around, just like other people do. We're not at this stage yet of hockey tournaments in other communities or that type of thing. But, you know, bringing the reality to Ottawa, because sometimes I think Ottawa doesn't get real life at all, and the day-to-day struggles that people face.
And with 15 seconds or less as we wrap up here, what's a New Year's resolution or a Christmas wish that you have for your family heading in?
New Year's resolution, maybe that we can make it to everything on time and not 15 minutes late.
That's obviously a struggle for many people. Thank you so much, Rosemary Falk, for stepping in and spending time with us in studio.
Anytime.
And now here are your stock market prices for today.
First General Services. When you require prompt emergency service, the first F word that should come to your mind should be First General Services.
Now in sports, the Inland Steel Bobcats finished off 2019 with a .500 record. One of the keys to their success, the back end, led by 2002-born Braden Cook. The Midget AAA team bolstered their blue line this season. Two returning D-men in Ryan Wilkinson and Austin Klein, two D-men who averaged over half a point per game last year, a potential top 3 pick at the upcoming WHL draft, and finally, the Bobcats leader and former Fort McMurray oil baron, Braden Cook.
He just brings that calmness. He's played at that next level, like you said, so he knows what it takes to get there. And we expect him back there next year. He's going to play in that league next year.
After having 15 assists in his minor midget AAA season, Cook made the Oil Barons. His experience in the AJHL has taken his game to another level.
Yeah, obviously it was great to get that experience up there, just the style of play they have. My coaches were great last year, so a lot of fun there. And then it's good to bring some of the experience and show some leadership here and help these guys out and bring them to the next level, hopefully.
Coming back to his hometown, Cook has gotten opportunities he hasn't in the past.
I wasn't the most offensive guy last year because I wasn't playing power play and stuff like that, so obviously I've been able to grow in that area and get some more points on the board and help these guys out.
And he has capitalized on that. Cook sits 5th on his team in points with 9. 6 of those have come on the man advantage.
He brings a healthy competitiveness to our team. It's been nice to see.
The Inland Steel Bobcats host Grand Prairie tomorrow at 7. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports. Now to our Abby St. John, who's got the weather.
Thanks, Evan. We'll take a look at our satellite radar. Edmonton has still been experiencing some snowfall, periods of snowfall and mix of sleet and freezing rain, especially outside of the Edmonton area as it makes its way more east to the Wainwright and Vermilion, Vegreville regions, as well making its way more up north to Lac La Biche and in the Cold Lake area as it makes its way to the Saskatchewan side. Heavier cloud coverage over the past couple of hours, and then down in North Battleford and the Maidstone, just a little bit of snowfall here and there. No real signs of snow just yet for here in Lloydminster, but there will be in the next couple of days. -10 here in Lloydminster, as well as in Pearceland, Green Lake, and in Meadow Lake. -12 in Isle Cross, St. Walburg, and Maidstone. -13 North Battleford, and -8 in Macklin. And on the Alberta side, -11 in Marwayne, -8 in Vermilion, -7 in Provost, Wainwright, and Vegreville, -5 out in Edmonton, -9 in St. Paul, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and in Lac La Biche. And tomorrow, daytime high here in Lloydminster of 0, as well as in Vermilion, St. Paul, and in Cold Lake, -1 in Marwayne and in Bonnyville, +1 in Lac La Biche and Vegreville, 2 in Edmonton, Wainwright, and 3 in Provost. And on the Saskatchewan side, -5 in Isle Cross, -2 in Green Lake, +2 in North Battleford, +4 in Macklin, 1 in Maidstone, and -1 in St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, and out in Pearceland. And overnight across the region, Isle Cross, there's a chance that they could experience some snowfall overnight. Provost sitting fairly clear with little cloud coverage, and then the rest of the region fairly heavier cloud coverage overnight, with temperatures ranging between -8 and -12. And then your national temperatures across Canada, -15 up in Whitehorse, where they're experiencing some snowfall, -18 in Yellowknife, -10 in Regina, where they're sitting fairly clear, -1 in St. John's, +3 in Halifax, +2 in Winnipeg, and +3 out in Toronto. And then your next 7 days, a high of 0 and a low of -11 for tomorrow, with a fairly cloudy day. And then a little bit more sun on Sunday with a high of -7 and a low of -11. On Monday, to start your week off, there's a 56% chance of some snow with a mix of sun and cloud, and a high of -8 and a low of -13. On Tuesday, a high of -12 and a low of -23. On Wednesday, a 59% chance of some snowfall with a high of -15 and a low of -16. On Thursday, things get a little bit more cooler with a high of -20 and then a low of -23. And on Friday, a fairly sunny day. However, the temperatures will be quite cold with a high of -23 and a low of -33. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news in the question of the day coming up after the break.
Well, $70 million is a big deal, and everybody's rushing to buy the ticket. So the question was, what would you do if you won the $70 million Lotto Max jackpot? I would buy land, and I would do a lot of different things. But I heard a lot of people were saying that they would help the SPCA, the men's shelter. I thought that was interesting. I love that.
Yeah, a lot. We did get a very large amount of comments.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, very heartwarmingly saying that they would donate a chunk of it to various charities, start charities. You know, I know one man commented that he would build an indoor soccer facility here, you know, just paying it forward, a lot of people said. And then you had like mixed in like investing it, paying off debts, taking my family on a nice vacation, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the comments were very nice, saying I'll give some to charity and then some I'll spend on my family, and then the rest I'll invest it. So.
I think I love the fact that they'll spend it on their family and friends, and then the charity aspect, I think, hits home all the time when you win that amount of money. I love what our director Blake said also, like if you own the place, rather than buying your tickets, but wherever you bought it from, you could, you know, those people get a percentage as well, right? So it's a nice way of, you know, winning something, right?
Exactly. And the store is just going to be excited nonetheless, saying, yeah, we had that ticket, we sold it, and all that. So that's very nice for them as well. That would be super exciting.
Yeah, $7 million though, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how much you would spend. I wouldn't be able to spend all of that in my lifetime.
You'd be pretty set for the majority of your life if you're using it right.
If you're using it right. Yeah, speaking of winning, thanks for sending your pets for a chance to win a gift card from the Pet Pad. Of course, we're going to be announcing the winner at the very end of the show today.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall for Primetime Local News. We're down here at the MD of Bonnyville building, looking at your year in review, joined with Reeve Greg Sawchuk. Thanks for joining me, Reeve.
Thanks, Justin.
How was 2019?
Well, it was a struggle. You know what? We had the economy for this area is still not moving along as it should. It was also a struggle for our farmers. Once again, we see that cumulative effect of a tough harvest on them.
So how are you helping farmers get through the harvest?
Well, you know what? There's not a whole bunch we can do about the weather. We do have a rather large ag program within the MD that helps them out on a regular basis and provides them with information when we can. But as far as helping out with harvest, there's not much we can do.
You talked about the economy struggles. What are you guys doing to kickstart it?
Well, this council has been very proactive in regards to our businesses and the non-residential tax rates. And so for 2 years in a row, we actually lowered the non-residential rate. And it's looking like for this coming year, we'll be doing the exact same thing. Anything to give our businesses a little bit of a break. Our municipality was also the first to introduce the small business tax class that was actually brought in, and we were the first ones, in the province to introduce that.
One thing that you guys done this year, you got national media attention from it, was leaving the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Caused quite a stir in Ottawa to the point where they flew people out to meet with you. You're still leaving, but tell us how that went down.
Yeah, so everybody was, I would say, upset at the federal election and how that rolled out. And the feeling of Western alienation. And so we got to talking amongst our council, and we said that, what can we do? And it came up that we belong to this Federation of Canadian Municipalities. It's an organization that are supposed to advocate for us. And so I asked the question in council, did they advocate prior to the election in regards to our needs? And that means advocating for natural resource development and agriculture, and they had done neither. And then the second question was, we attend a conference annually for the FCM, and it's been in Halifax, it's been in Quebec City. This year it's supposed to be in Toronto. And I said, if you look at the agenda, the study tours, take away the location, is it the type of thing that is of benefit to our municipality again? And again, our council came back, and I was very proud of that fact that it was unanimous, that they said no. And at that point in time, we decided to give FCM the notice that we were going to be letting our registration lapse. And that's when things kind of got rolling. And FCM came out. They met with us in Edmonton at RMA. We had about a 40-minute discussion with the president there. We laid it out as to how hard our area has been hit by the downturn. Tried to get across the story of what industry looks like here. And we felt that FCM had just dropped the ball in regards to advocation for us. And so we are pulling back from that. We did hear recently, just in the last week, that FCM has changed their tune a little bit. For the first time ever, they're actually, they've brought out a statement in support of natural resource development. So it's a step in the right direction. We'll see where they go.
Let's talk about 2020 highlights. One of the things that I'm really excited about, you're building an adventure park out at the ski hill in the MD of Bonnyville towards Cold Lake. And I think it's probably the only adventure park 1,000 kilometers. Like, I know there's one in Whistler, but other than that, you must be happy about that.
Yeah, for sure. This is a really exciting project, and Kinnessee Ridge is a gem, absolute gem in our area, and it's going to be built up on the hill. It'll be one of the best views of Cold Lake that you can possibly get. So it's a big mechano structure. The small kids can climb on the bottom. The brave ones can climb up top, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And so we're really excited to get that built in 2020.
Awesome stuff. When will it be operational, do you think?
To be announced. We're not sure. The big thing is it's being built on a hill. It all has to be engineered, and it's coming from Germany. So
look at that.
Exciting. Yes, it's very exciting.
Reeve, well, thank you so much for catching up with us, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and all your viewers.
All right, Reeve of the MD of Bonnyville, Mr. Greg Sawchuk, will send it back to you guys in studio.
Well, it's Friday, and that means we're going to be announcing the pet winner of the pet pad, of course.
Yeah.
So roll drums. Let's see.
And the winner is Aspen and Piper. Congratulations, the dynamic duo. Very adorable dogs. Brittany, I'll be in contact with you on Monday to give you details on when and where to pick up your Pet Pad gift card.
Absolutely adorable.
Always exciting.
Pets.
Yes.
I'm glad they won. It's like a lottery.
Exactly, for them. They get a new toy, new
Right?
treats.
Yeah,
anything.
it's like our 70 million for them, right?
Exactly.
It's like whatever they're getting.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure,
super
so.
excited. Bring them to the pet store
Right.
to pick out the pet or the
Or sniff out what they like.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
what they do?
The
Like
toy
sniff
they
out-
hate, they can, and that makes for a very cute video.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
I would do that.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my gosh, good idea. Take
Yeah.
your pet in for the one of your gifts or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and that is it for our show. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again on Monday.